where do you come out on how these two guys are playing right now and kind of how they've played through 50 some games this year?
Well, it's always going to be a question in Edmonton. We talked about it last time I was on the show, and it's just something that they're going to have to deal with. It's something that the team's going to have to deal with, and it's how they respond. Watching those games, there's definitely some rust. It's a combination. There were some goals that needed to be saved there, but as a goalie, when you're in there and it's mayhem in front of you, that's when those goals start to go in because you're starting to see 10 guys on the ice on the other team, and you're thinking. You look at the Pickard, that wrist shot that you were just talking about. Now, that's watching that play. The last thing he's thinking about is that wrist shot coming from the point. He's thinking about other things. He's drifting back in his net. He obviously let himself lose sight of the puck, which are all things that are our job. But when things are chaotic in front of you, you can start thinking that there's going to be 3, 4 passes or it's going to hit a shin pad. All these things are going to happen. And then you forget to do all the little things to be set here. The puck comes out to the blue line, and you can watch his feet. He comes out and he's thinking something else. He starts drifting backwards here, drifting backwards, and he lets himself lose the puck. Obviously, the puck was probably snapping around a little bit previously in this game, and he's just not thinking that shot's coming, and that's just not being sharp. But that's the kind of things that can happen. You watch their movement. Again, watching this, just watch his feet as he drifts back. So he's sliding backwards into the net. So he just allows himself to, and you can kind of watch the chaos in both games a little bit. Of some plays. There was one in the second period here that looked like a 2-on-0 in practice. There was a 2-on-0 in the Philadelphia game, and that can start to affect the way a goalie plays. And you can see in his movements that he's just not trusting what's going on in front of him. So, yes, it is a goalie's job to tighten up, and they need to get back to the structure that lets them feel good and be good. But it's a full team thing that they got to get structured in front of them as well and work together to get that good feeling back.
Yeah, and, so true. Like you look through these goals, and so many of them come off turnovers, and then, like you said, there's multiple options of what could happen. So I guess that leads to another question: do you think the blue line is good enough to, I guess, help out the goaltending, or do they need an upgrade on there as well?
Well, I think it's a full team defense thing. And it's that structure in front of you, and it's not giving up scoring chances. If teams are going out there and they're trying to not give up shots and they're doing everything, that turns into chaos. Guys getting out of position to block a shot because they just don't want a shot to get on net. That goes the opposite way. Then it just becomes guys sliding around out of position, and you feel that chaos in front of you. So I think with Edmonton's defense right now, I mean, Edmonton is in a position that they should be looking to upgrade any way they possibly can because they are a strong cup contender. But you kind of know what you get from the guys there. So for me, it's a veteran presence back there. Somebody stable that can calm things down when it does get chaotic. Who that is, that obviously comes down. You guys are talking about salary cap and whatnot earlier. I don't think it's necessarily a big splash, but an older guy that is stable, that can go on the ice when things are feeling a little chaotic and really settle the whole group down, I think is important for this team because things can just start to unravel, and it goes 5 guys and a goalie on the ice when you don't feel like things are in control. You can watch the goalie's movements as well, that even watching their movements feels chaotic because I know what it's like to be back there when you just don't know what's happening in front of you. And all of a sudden the game starts to become way quicker than it is. And you can just watch the movements in their crease before goals, when the goals go in. It's chaotic, and it seems panicked. And that's kind of the feeling when you watch the teams. A lot of running around, chasing, trying to catch up, and it doesn't work.
It's a great lead into the next question I wanted to ask you, and maybe do a little film breakdown here. But the Sean Couturier goal, Aaron, if we could pull that up, the 3-2-1 against Philadelphia, it comes on the heels of, again, another ugly Evan Bouchard turnover. It was his second really bad one of the game that directly or indirectly led to a goal against. But I'm curious for your take on Stuart Skinner on this one, because I kind of said, man, I'd like to see him find a way to make this save just when you look at how he moves across here. But what do you see from Skinner here that kind of allows him to get beat on this chance? And maybe, again, does this speak to like the chaos in front of him just causing him to misread a play maybe?
Yeah, it's not necessarily misread, but that's for players they call it squeezing the stick. So this is a bad turnover, which kind of causes panic to begin with. He oversets on this shot. If you watch the player's body here, I'm not sure who makes the pass there, but is it?
I think it's Mitchkov.
Michkov, he makes the turnover, makes the pass. He's not in a great position to shoot here, so Skinner doesn't need to be fully set on that shot. I mean, that's what happens is he wants to make this save so bad. It's a turnover, chaos happens, the heart rate goes up. This is not a dangerous play. So he should not be overplaying this shot right here as a threat. He needs to feel what's going on around him, and when you're relaxed and seeing it, he would know that there's not a great chance he's going to put that on net, and if he does, it's not a danger. And you can see he just oversets on this one and allows himself to lose sight of the puck, which is something else that happens when you're not feeling comfortable with what's going on in front of you. But you can see because he oversets on the initial shot, which turns out to be a pass, there's no movement side to side because he essentially loses his edges right here and then reaches for it. He doesn't actually read the play, and he's probably allows himself to get screened here as well, which, like I mentioned, when things feel chaotic in front of you, that's one thing that you have to battle through is finding the puck. It's a tendency, it's an instinct where you kind of just allow yourself, you lose sight of the puck, and instead of working through it to find it, you kind of allow yourself to lose it, and you just freeze up a little bit. And that's a perfect example on that play where I think he might have allowed himself to lose it. Instead of making one extra movement to find it and feel the guy off, he just wants to make sure he stops it, and so he drops, and then all he can do is reach because it wasn't a far push to go if he's relaxed and feels that guy off to his left.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.